Now watch this turn. Indicator left, down the slope. What a shot. What a shot. Is it? Oh, would you believe that? Rory McIlroy. What a round of golf. It's one outside the Augusta course record.
Go back. Here it comes. Oh my goodness. This is way more aggressive than I anticipated. Oh, man! What a shot! I'd say that's pretty good. Whoa!
Hello, welcome to the PFD show. I'm Mark, joined by Jack. We're here to talk all things golf DFS, as focusing on the At&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. As you'll notice, only two of us today. Nick is in his deathbed as we speak. Hopefully he'll be back for next week. You never know. We all know what's really going on here, though, Jack, don't we?
Oh yes, we definitely know what's going on here. He's just he's missing the show. He's going to listen to see what we're picking, and then he's going to probably take us down in the podcast league, isn't he, this week? But
Yeah.
we'll see. We know what his game is, Mark. We know what it is.
Yeah, we know. He's the week he won so far as the week he didn't appear on the show as well there. So we know what it is. Of course, if he does it, then we'll all just not appear every week, Jack.
I mean, I was ill yesterday, but I'm here tonight. I've got over
You're a trooper.
I'm a trooper. I'm powering through, and I'm looking forward to talking about this event this week. Yeah.
Before we do though, we've got to look at last week. You won the host competition, so and pretty easily in the end, I think.
Yeah, it was my 6 of 6 cash lineup that I put in our host competition this week, and it took it down. I think both of you two only had 5 or 6, didn't you? Get through with your lineup, from what I remember. I ended up taking, I think it's about 100 points or something by the end, so I took it down. Wasn't a particularly great scoring team, really. Ironically, that team got outperformed by my GPP lineup this week. My GPP lineup had a 5 of 6, and that scored more than my 6 of 6. That was just such a weird event, the Farmers. I loved it though, because I love hard golf scoring courses like that. Justin Thomas had me on full tilt on the second day when he was like 6 under. Because I watched a lot of it. I've always intended to enjoy harder golf courses. It's kind of where I do quite well in DFS at. But he had me on full tilt on day 2 when he was 6 under. He was spraying the ball everywhere off the tee, finding that really thick rough. And then he'd hit his second shot within inside 10 feet of the pin. And I was like, what? Like, this is not sustainable. Like, I was fuming because it reminded me of Jordan Spieth. It's the type of thing we get Jordan Spieth this week. So I'll be on full tilt yet again. But it's the kind of thing he does. He sprays the ball everywhere off the tee and just gets away with it. And Justin Thomas was doing it. He had a really bad weekend. I think he ended up finishing over par after getting to 6 under on the Thursday it was, because it was started on the Wednesday, didn't it? But great event. I made a lot of profit this week. Both GPP and cash lineups finally cashed together. When I'm talking about cash lineups, for people that don't know, basically I just play a few double up contests, and the idea is theoretically that I can get all my money back, all my outlay back in them. And it's worked every week so far. I mean, it's not, I know 1 week it's not going to work and things like that, but the idea around the cash lineups for me with the double ups is that I can get all my outlay back, so I never lose, really. Technically, that's the idea of like doing it. and double ups are great, really. Like, you know, you get them from $1 up to, I think they go up to hundreds of dollars, but the furthest I go is $10. I only play $10 double ups, but the payout structure on them is just fantastic. I mean, if you get in a contest of like 900 people, I think it's like the top 500 get paid out on, you know. So if it's a $10 entry, you win $20 off of it, and I just think it's a great little process. It's something I've been doing since last September, and it's just worked. It's working all the time, and I know 1 week it's not going to work, but I'm very much enjoying the process of playing it like that at the minute.
Yeah, it's something, as you know, I've been focusing a lot on cut makers this season, and I've actually moved it over to double ups yet, but I'm definitely going to start doing that this week. I had a funny old week in terms of DraftKings and stuff. I never really felt I was ever there and stuff, and in the contests and stuff. You know, I was in the listener league as well and stuff. Never really felt I was doing anything. On fan team on their golf DFS, I got 6 of 6 through. Thought, we guaranteed money. Didn't cash. Teams with 5 out of 6 beat me. Teams with 4 out of 6 beat me. It was like absolutely nuts. I think it's almost harder to do that than it is anything else, to get 6 of 6 through and not cash.
It was a really weird week, and like, as I say, my 6 of 6, I think every player in that lineup on Sunday was over par. I think that one of the guys was 2 over. That was the best. And like, I had one guy in there on the Sunday that finished like 8 over, like Kevin Yu or something. Like, I was just like, this is madness. Like, what is going on?
Friend of the show, Kevin Yu.
I ended up nailing the max homer on the outright as well. So I really did.
That was nice.
Yeah, I had a really good week last week, and I just seem to do better at them harder golf courses. I don't know why. I really don't understand it. I enjoy it. I enjoy that type of golf.
I'd love for us to have the technical skills for us to replay a little bit of last week's show, because when we were talking about our models, I mentioned that Eric Barnes appeared in my model quite highly.
Yeah.
And it was the highest 6 days. He's actually in the optimal lineup last week.
Did you see where he gained strokes though? He like chipped in.
Yeah.
Like, he gained like 10 strokes putting and things like that.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So in golf DFS, nobody ever plays the optimal lineup. Nobody ever gets it. It's just almost impossible to get the optimal lineup. Even in those tournament champions and everything, it's almost anyway. But Eric Barnes was in it, and when I saw that happen, I was like, maybe I should trust my models a little bit more.
Well, yeah, maybe you should. It was like me, wasn't it, the Sony, and it was like KJ Choi was popping. I can't even remember if he made the cut, but like after day 1, he was like 3rd or something. I was like, what is this? Like, the guy's like 60 years old and he's 3rd in this tournament. Like, what is going on?
I've just a little bit of spoiler. I've got a name I was not expecting. I haven't seen for a while as number 1 in my model at the moment, and normally I would just dismiss it, but maybe I shouldn't. But we'll get onto that later. I think
I've seen it.
Yeah, no, you've seen it. You didn't laugh too much, in all fairness.
No, he's a very popular bet this week, actually. I will say that. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. You couldn't laugh too much also, because my second and third probably are pretty high in your model. So anyway, before we get on to actually talking about this week and Jack's famous course preview, a little bit of admin and advertising to do. So, Jack, you've set up the listener leagues ready for this week.
Yes.
The KFT as well, or the DP?
The DP World Tour. So they're playing out in Abu Dhabi again, I think. It's not the greatest of fields there, but that's open. And also the At&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am contest, that's open. $3 entry. Top 3 win, single entry. So if you just want to try out DraftKings for 1 week, it's probably a good little competition for you to enter, actually. And I took it down last week, actually, the listener league, which was nice. I did see Mark snooping around just behind me at one point. I was like, oh, here we
go. Not long. Not long.
If you want to come and come up against us in those leagues, then please do. Like, it's good fun, and hopefully we can just grow them over time. Really, if we can grow them over time, then we can increase it, and the prize pools will get bigger, and etc. etc.
And DK will be able to do something for us as well.
Yes, most definitely. But yeah, so we've got DP World Tour and PJ Tour DK listener leagues available. Just head over to the PFD show on Twitter. You can find our Substack over there as well. I've just dropped the newsletter tonight. Been smashing my core plays on there. So if you want to get involved in that, it's totally free to sign up. I think Mark's going to do some stuff next week when we get to Phoenix. In regards to cup makers, I believe. So that'll be interesting. Like, you know, you look at the core plays that I'm playing, Mark's cup makers, and build your lineups like that if you want. See how you get on. But I've been smashing the core plays there. So get involved in that. Totally free to sign up. Course previews, weather, tea time, etc. It's all in there.
There's so much in it, Jack. It's staggering. It's staggering how much you put into that. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, as I say, I enjoy doing it. I love golf. I love golf DFS, so I enjoy writing about golf. And it's just it's free. You know, it just drops in your email as well, so it's nice. Like I sign up to so many. Rick Run Good's got one. Pat Mayo's got one. I sign up to all of these. They're completely free. Just sign up to them, and there you go.
And also can't go a week without talking about your season-long golf DFS tracker, which people in the fan team season long are already benefiting from.
Most definitely. I had some guy message me earlier who wanted to get access to it. He was like, he's sitting 40th at the minute. He was telling me, so he's like, I kind of need it now for the rest of the way. So sorry, I'm going to cough again.
Yes,
it's $3.99. That's a one-off fee. You get all the updates through the rest of the year. For some reason, this year we're getting golf fields announced really early. It's quite nice. So there's plenty of data to work. I mean, you could probably work with the next sort of 5 or 6 weeks on there with confirmations and things like that. It's $3.99. Just hit me up on Twitter, send me a DM, and I'll get you involved in that.
So, or stop chatting to yourselves in the chat, please. Listen to us. Great thing about the tracker is I've already got my next 3 weeks sorted. So you know, barring any injuries or anything to withdraw, don't use any transfers in the next 3 weeks. That's 6 free transfers. So that's just an advantage, example of the sort of advantage having this tracker gives you. $3.99 is ridiculous for the amount of work that goes in.
You keep telling me this.
Yeah, I do tell you this. It's like one day you can listen. It could be 300. It still will be value for money. Anyway, hello to Lynn, Scoped, and Paul K. Jack, have you got? Are you going to go long enough without coughing that you can do the?
I hope so. I will just mute myself if I do cough again. Sorry, listeners. I'm full of a cold, which is why the pod was put back last night. Man flu actually, but let's get into the courses this week. So we're back to the free course rotation this week. Mark, thank God this is the last time we're going to get the course rotation.
I'm sick and tired of it.
What annoys me with this week is Pebble Beach is a US Open golf course. They use it for the US Open. It's a stunning golf course. It's probably one of the top 3 golf courses in the world that any amateur golfer would want to play on. And they use it for this. It really annoys me. It really, really annoys me. But anyway, let's start with Pebble Beach. So Pebble Beach Golf Links is based in California. They're all based in California, actually. So Jack Neville and Douglas Grant design in 1990. It's a par 72. It's 6,972 yards long. The water comes into play on one hole here. It's POA everywhere, except the rough, which the rough is ryegrass, and you'll find ryegrass on a lot of these coastal tracks. It just grows well next to the sea, basically. Plenty of sea views on this golf course. If you remember last year, Jordan Spieth hit the most dangerous golf shot in the world that I've ever seen on the side of the cliff. I think even his caddy thought he was a bit of an idiot for doing it, but he did. He hit the ball, and he kind of threw the tournament away after that because he was leading by a few shots at that point. But he kind of threw the tournament away. But small greens around this place on Pebble Beach. It's as I mentioned, it's on the coast, like you are on the coast. This is a links golf course. If the wind gets up, it's a massive defense for it. If the wind gets up, this Pebble Beach probably plays the hardest of the 3 golf courses if the wind gets up. But we'll see. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to cough. Sorry. Spyglass Hill. Again, based in California. It's a Robert Trent Jones Sr. design in 1966, and it had a 1999 renovation here. It's a par 72 at 7,041 yards long. You've got water on this. It comes into play on 4 holes. Ryegrass fairways with POA, ryegrass rough with POA as well, and POA greens on this. Great thing this week, everyone, we've got POA greens on all 3 golf courses. Spyglass Hill is a bit of a weird golf course compared to the other 3. The front 9 is all based on like around the coast. The back 9 goes through a forest, so you get a lot of tree-lined fairways. Spyglass without any weather definitely plays the hardest. If you're playing showdown, avoid this golf course at all costs. The third one is Monterey Peninsula Country Club. It's in Pebble Beach, again in California. It's a Robert Baldock design in 1960 with a Mike Strantz renovation in 2003. It's a par 71 at 6,958 yards long. You've got water on this. Again, it comes into play on 5 holes. Bent grass with fescue on the fairways. It's ryegrass in the rough again, and again, POA greens. By far the easiest golf course of the 3. If you're stacking up for showdown, stack this golf course. Common theme throughout all 3 golf courses, lots of bunkers. Again, POA greens on all 3. POA is such an unpredictable putting surface. We saw that last week. Inside sort of 5 feet, loads of misses last week, wasn't there? So you're going to get that again this week. But yeah, if you want the easiest one, it's Monterey Peninsula Country Club. And then the hardest is probably Spyglass without the weather. They'll play Pebble Beach twice. They'll play Pebble Beach on the Sunday for the final round. It is a Saturday cut again. But yeah, that's kind of it. The only golf course that really excites me is Pebble Beach. I love Pebble Beach. I'd love to play it as a golfer myself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the course rotation being over, Mark.
So am I. By the way, Lynn, if you do a shot every time Jack coughs, you'll be comatose before we get to like the 8,000 range, I think. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of these because I hate these. It's the 54-hole cut I don't like.
Yeah,
because it goes against everything you're sort of trying to do generally, the DFS lineups and stuff. You try to adapt to it to some degree, but it's generally speaking, my process doesn't really. I feel like it's based around a 36-hole cut. Let's put it that way. Trying to get cut makers through. So
I should state as well, it's only the top 60 and ties that make the cut this week on the Sunday. It's normally the top 65 and ties. So
yeah. Cool.
I think if you get 6 or 6 through this week, you'll do well.
Yeah, just like last week, like I did not. Anyway, here we are. We got that on the screen. See that there? Yeah, good. Okay, so here's our we start going through the players, Jack. So 10K rank, 10K range only got 4 in them. 4 in there. Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Tom Hoagie. What are your views about this, Jack? I think it's not going to be a surprise to regular listeners. You're not probably going to be playing Jordan Spieth.
No, it's not going to be a surprise. I sort of said to you before we come on air that I'm playing 2 golfers in this range this week. And if you've read the newsletter already, 2 of them are in my core, and it's Victor Hovland and Matthew Fitzpatrick. They're my number 1 and 2 within my model this week, a pair of them. Hovland number 1, Matthew Fitzpatrick number 2. What I like about Fitzpatrick, I'll start with him first. Number 2 in my model, as I said, is he's sorry, Mark. He's a very consistent player. Very good with his irons. Last time we saw him was at Century's Tournament of Champions. He finished 7th there. Got on a little bit of a run in the last round there. Finished 13th for the Hero World Challenge. As also is the US Open reigning champion. As I mentioned earlier, Pebble Beach is a US Open venue. They use it for that. So we know he can get it done on these harder tracks with the thick rough and the wind when it gets up. So yeah, not much. I mean, there's not much not to like about him at all. He's great off the tee. He's great around the green. He's great putting. Accuracy. deadly accurate. He's the number 2 in my model this week for accuracy. So yeah, I like him. We didn't really say what we were looking at in our models this week, did we, Mark? But
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that bit. Yeah, bring back Nick.
Yeah, you're
bring back
sacked.
Nick. Do you want to go through that quickly now?
Yeah, do you want to start with yours, and then I can get over my...
Well, yeah, I've got quite a lot again this week. I've gone birdie. I've got birdies or better in there. This isn't in any particular order at the moment. Driving distance, not that it's not to do with driving distance. It'll do a club head speed, but that's definitely got some correlation there. Lots of different approach stuff because the second shots all tend to be from a similar distance. Bit of scrambling, bit of per putting. Yeah, and that makes up my model. So actually, it's actually more than I say there because I've got quite a lot of different buckets for the approach. And you?
So mine is strokes gained approach. I've got 20%. I've got long-term proximity from 100 to 125 yards. This is a wedge fest, this place. If you're good with your wedge, you're going to do well around this place. Tom Hoagie ranked number 1 with wedge play last year, and he won the event. So if you're gonna rank out inside the top 10 of that, you're gonna do well here this week. I've got sand saves, as I mentioned. There's a lot of bunkers around this place. I mean, they're not particularly challenging, but I've got that in here. Strokes gained putting on Poa, putting inside 10 feet. We mention that every week. I've got that again. Opportunities gained. Strokes gained total on Poa golf courses. Strokes gained total on golf courses under 7,200 yards long. Par 5 scoring. And then I've got my comp course history at Pebble Beach, Spyglass Hill, Port Royal, and Monterey Peninsula Golf Club. That's my model this week.
Just a few again, as ever, Jack.
Yeah. And now I've done my voice again.
Yeah. Cool. Like you, by the way, how many of these shows have we done and those still missed out the model? Anyway, like you, Victor Holland's number 2 in my model, definitely my favourite in this range, and Max Fitzpatrick as well. I think they're projected to be the 2 highest owned in there as well.
Yeah, but I've mentioned this a few weeks, haven't I? Now
yeah.
I don't really care. I'm just going to eat the chalk at the top and then get different in the 7K range. I know everyone in the chat there. It's hard for it's hard for me to bet against Spieth and his history at Pebble Beach. That's fine. I can't play Jordan Spieth. He puts me on full tilt. He sprays the ball everywhere off the tee, and that will catch up with you one day. I don't care who you are; it catch up with you. Fine. I'm not going to try and talk you off of him. If you want to play him, play him. I get it. I get the course history. I get it all. He ranks fairly high within my model. He will do because of the field in this golf course on this event. I just can't play him personally. It's just a personal bias, and if he beats me, he beats me.
He's also in really bad form, especially statistically speaking. Yeah. Really bad.
I mean, that was unforgivable at the Sony, what he done there.
Yeah. A lot of pressure on us tonight, by the way, Jack. Lynn's building lineup based on what we say. And she agrees with you for Fitz to Spieth. And
well done, Lynn. You finally got off that Spieth train. I'm really proud of you.
She'll be back. Shall we head into the 9K? I feel like the show's gone all over the shop today. Let's play it on your cold. 9K range. Seamus Powers back. Andrew Putnam, Matt McNeely, Justin Rose, Matt Kuchar, Denny McCarthy, Keith Mitchell, and Joel Darman. So, who are you interested in here, Jack? I think there's a lot of good plays here, this range myself.
I don't actually mind Andrew Putnam. He ranks out 5th within my model. I'm not, to be honest, I won't really be playing guys within this range because I'm starting with 2 at the top, and then it forces you down into the low 7s, whatever you do. But Andrew Putnam would be my favourite up here. He's 5th within my model this week. Just looking at his course history, sorry. I'll just use Tom Hoagie last year as an example. So Tom Hoagie played this event in 2020. He comes 60th. In 2021, he come 12th, and then he won it in 2022. Putnam now is in 2021 he come 55th, and then in 2022 he comes 6th. So he's kind of got that sort of. Pebble Beach is one of them golf courses that you need to have played a couple of times to sort of get used to it and know your way around it. Putnam fits that criteria. I don't. So yeah, I mean he's ranking high within the model. It's weird this week. It's so top heavy there, and it's just bad. But he's become a consistent cut maker, Putnam as well.
Oh, it's ridiculous! It's absolutely ridiculous.
So I mean, he'd be my favourite play up there. I presume he's going to be chalk within that range. Let me just have a look at that. Putnam. Yeah, I've got. No, he's not actually. Mavis. So I've got. I'd play Putnam over Maverick McNeely. McNeely's getting the love because his parents have got a house that's on the 11th tee.
One thing to say about Andrew Putnam, I think his PJ Splits, the Twitter account, does a thing looking at trends of previous winners. You know, what stats sticky, like 14 out of the last 15 have to do this and all that sort of thing. And there's only 8 players who hit those trends this week, and Andrew Putnam is one of them. So yeah, he almost looks like a nailed-on cut maker every week, doesn't he? Really, it's yeah. If I'd have done an article this week, it would have been that about him.
So what, I can't play Matt Kuchar. That price is horrible.
Yeah, I want Matt Kuchar in there. I saw him earlier when I was building some lineups for some reason. Seamus Power.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, just a quick one. Seamus Power. Absolutely ridiculous. He's had 4 top 5s in his last 8 outings. And he gained strokes against the field 83% of the time in the last 6. So I know he's right at the top of that, and I think potentially he could. His ownership is actually pretty high, I reckon. But I think, like you said, if people go for the top, they could miss players like Seamus Power.
Yeah, I've bet Power this week just because I like the odds.
Yeah, he's I think he's another one of these. It's like you said, because the field is so sort of weak.
Yeah.
So all the players you want to play is just way too expensive. You can't fit them all in, like you say. Anybody else up in this range you're interested in?
I mean, not really. I just if it turns into a putting contest, Denny McCarthy, but he's been in. I wouldn't say woeful form. I mean, he's been making cuts, but it's been nothing at that price. You'd want a top 10 from him here. But like he's been making cuts, but it's been nothing impressive. He was 12th here last year. We know what he's like with the putter. We know he's very good with the putter and gains tons of strokes with the putter. Coming in projected ownership quite low at the minute, actually 7.14. He's the lowest within this range, surprisingly. I would certainly take him over Matt Kuchar. I can't play Matt Kuchar. I know he had that 7th at. This was a Kuchar had 7th. Yeah, he was 7th at Sony. I can't play him. Like that price is a joke. And I'm sorry. I can't. That really. Yeah,
I get it. Played much either.
No, I get it because of the field, but that price is a joke. And his course history is not great. He missed the cut last year. Didn't play it in 2021. Middle of the pack in 2020. Middle of the pack in 2019, and near enough dead last in 2018. So his recent course history has been terrible. If it turns into a birdie fest, I don't think he can do it. So no, not Kuchar for me. Damon's getting love. He's getting a lot of love in betting circles, but he hasn't played for 11 weeks. Now, this will be a golf course that he likes. He loves coastal tracks. He's won the Corrales. We know that. He was very popular there last year for us in the Corrales, and he bloody withdrew, didn't he, after day 1 with Neil? But yeah, he's good on coastal tracks. He's played well at the RBC Heritage. That's a coastal track. I know he's got a top 10 there, but the not playing for 11 weeks worries me a little.
Yeah, actually, the 4th. He's my 4th highest in the 9 range. Actually, Keith Mitchell appears just before him on my model as well. Driving distance and everything.
Bust, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think I think the way the pricings are and the sort of the weakness of the strength of the field, you don't necessarily need to take that gamble. But him and Damon are both decent projected ownership. So yeah, as I say, if you're not, I think if you think that people are going to be building the way you're talking about, Jack, 2 of the top 4,
Yeah,
because then if you want to go different, starting in this 9K range is the obvious way to go.
most definitely.
Or even as we're moving on to it now, even possibly the 8s. Let's have who we got in the 8s. We've got Pendrith, Detry, Smalley, Ben Griffin, Kisner, Burmester, Moore, Lipsky, Mullinax, and Nick Taylor. So I've been sort of banging the drum for Ben Griffin every single week we've been doing this.
He's number 4 in my model this week.
Yeah, he's up in mine as well. It's just
he's going to be.
It's price when you talk about pricing and stuff. He's below Matt Kuchar and all that. Just seems doesn't seem right, does it? It feels like they're not respecting him enough.
Do you know what I'm going to do with him? Have a bet for him to miss the cut here. He's never played this event before.
Okay.
I think you need course history around Pebble Beach a little bit. I'm going to have a bet on him to miss the cut. I do need to see what golf course he's starting on though, because that will help sway my decision this week. But no, he's been constant cut maker as of late.
Yeah.
I think that run comes to an end this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, you thought that about Taylor Montgomery last week as well.
Yeah,
another one of my guys. Another one of my guys. He was like 4th or something when the cut was made. Yeah, who else? Who are you liking it? I mean, I think there's lots of good names here. And there's names we've talked about, the last few weeks as well in here.
Well, Ben Griffin was the highest out of this range. He's number 4. I've also got David Lipsky down. I mean, he's number 8 in my model, but he is like very boom or bust. Like I don't think I'd play David Lipsky in a cash lineup. Because I'd be scared as hell. The last time I played him, he missed the cut. So I couldn't play him in cash, but I could certainly get him within my GPP lineups if I didn't have 2 out of that top 10K range. But as I've mentioned, that's what I'm doing this week, all over in both cash and GPP. But yeah, he's number 8 within my model, gaining strokes sort of everywhere. Good birdie maker as well, David Lipsky. Who's next down?
Protected low ownership as well.
Yeah. I mean, he is that. It's probably because he's that boom or bust type of player. People are scared off people like that. You shouldn't be, because they can do really well for you. I don't actually know if he's got course history here. Let me have a look. Yeah, he come 24th last year, so he's got a bit of course history around here. Yeah. But I mean, you just look at the recent form. Like, he missed the cut at the Amex, which was a free course rotation. Come 4th at Sony. He missed the cut at the RSM, and then Houston he was 22nd, and then the week before that, I don't even know what that event is, because it just says May there. I don't know what that event is.
It's Myco. It's the Myco.
That's the one. Yeah. So yeah, he come 10th there. So yeah, it's just boom or bust. What David Lipsky's going to turn up, who knows? I just, because of the way I'm building this week, I won't have any of this range, but. Yeah. Alex Smalley was my next player. He's 13th within my model from this range. Been playing pretty well recently. He's only missed 1 cut out of the last 5, and that was at Sony. Bad course history here, though. Only played it once, missed the cut last year. So I don't know what you want to read into that. Lynn's asked us a question there, Mark.
Actually, I'm not looking at that screen. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I took it off your screen, didn't I?
What are your models based on this week, and what is the difference in your models? Lynn, you should probably rewind about 10 minutes or so and go back to what our models are.
We don't have massive differences, to be perfectly honest, because we're all working for the same stats, and there's only so many which are available to us.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, Jack's is a very complex model. way more complex than most people's, I would suggest. So yeah, there's no real massive difference though, I think, here.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
what we went
just run it through again for you. It's a strokes gained approach, long-term proximity, 100 to 125, sand saves, strokes gained putting on POA, putting inside 10 feet, opportunities gained, strokes gained total on POA golf courses, strokes gained total on courses under 7,200 yards, par 5 scoring. Then comp courses, Pebble Beach, Spyglass Hill, Monterey Peninsula Country Club, and Port Royal. Obviously, there's different percentages. So Mark might have strokes gained approach, Lynn, but Mark might have that weighted at 30%, where I've got it weighted at 20%, for example. Mark also might be doing his over a longer period of time.
Shorter in this case, I think.
I've got a process now that's worked since September, and I only do mine over 32 rounds.
Yeah, I'm doing 24 rounds this week, mainly because we've got a lot weaker players, and I think form is slightly more important for weaker players than it is for the best players in the world. I think for them, you could go over 50, 100 rounds and stuff. It would still be as indicative.
Yeah. Hope that helped.
Yeah. Okay, where were we? Alex Smalley. We talk about him almost every week, I think, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, he's 13th in my model. Good birdie maker. Good at strokes gained total actually on golf courses under 7,200 yards long. So that's probably why he's popping within the model this week. Sand saves is a bit disappointing. Loose strokes on that. Loses strokes on on POA greens as well, which is not ideal. And he's also losing strokes within that proximity range from 100 to 125 on my model. So maybe I need to do a deeper dive into Alex Smalley, but has been making a lot of cuts recently.
Yeah, it was also been one of those sort of DFS darks, I think, as in terms of being mentioned beforehand. So number one in my model comes up in this range, and I said at the top of the show, I was a bit surprised by this. It was actually Eric Van Rooyen, EVR, and just looking at, he's only played once this year so far, T6 at the Amex. I'm just looking at my model. I think the main reason he's come up so high is because of his birdie or better, his scrambling, and he does well in all the buckets I've chosen. Not particularly great at his putting, but not terrible. So yeah, it's mainly his approach and his scrambling, I think, for the reasons. So yeah, he's in my Eric Barnes this week, the player I wasn't going to play, but I'm going to now because of that. So yeah, it is. Well, yeah, spoiler alert: he'll be in our lineups for the pod host competition. There we go. So if we're done with the 8s, I suspect the 7s is going to be where you're going to be at, Jack, if you're using two of the 10Ks.
Yeah, I mean, the first one actually within the 7 range for me within my model is at 7,700. It's Nick Hardy. Good course history around here. The only thing I'd worry about him at the minute, Nick Hardy, is he's just sort of finishing middle of the pack. There's no sort of upside. He missed the cut here last year, actually. I say he's got good course history, but he actually won this back in 2015. I know that's a long time ago, but did actually win this event back then. Made 3 of his last 4 cuts, which is okay. But like I say, he's been kind of finishing middle of the pack. So maybe I need to do a little bit of a deeper dive into him at 7-7. I'm just trying to see where he's been gaining strokes. What's that one? It's a tee to green. He's gaining strokes quite well, gaining strokes on the approach, and that's going to be key this week on the approach. You want to see that. So yeah, I don't mind Nick Hardy at 7-7. I don't actually think I'll even be able to get to him, to be honest. Once I've built the way I want to build this week, for some really weird reason, Charlie Hoffman's number 9 in my model. I need to do a deep dive into him. I don't think I can play Charlie Hoffman. I don't know what he's been doing this year at 7,000. Let me have a look. Oh my god, he's been awful. Yeah, no, I can't play him. It might be on the cut. Yeah, I can't play him. I mean, it might just be the course history why he's popping up there. Matthew Neesmith again, though, someone that's just that's the problem when you get down to this range now. The golfers are just bad. Like these golfers should be what you'd find in the golfers what you want to see in the 6K range normally each week. Brendan Todd at 7,900, probably a little bit better than most down here. I'm just going to play Russell Knox though at 7,500. He's again in my core sort of play. He's just consistent. Like it's nothing pretty. It's just a good cut maker. Getting strokes on the approach, which is good to see. He's good with his irons, Russell Knox. He's not the longest driver of the ball, which is fine. You don't need to be long around this golf place, around here, sorry. But he's made 4 of his last 5 cuts. Good course history here, 33rd last year, 7th the year before. He missed a cut the year before that, but then mid-teen finishes the 2 years prior to that as well. So good course history, constant cut maker. Yeah, I don't mind getting into Russell Knox territory this week.
If there's any sort of weather as well, he's going to be okay.
Most
being
definitely.
Scottish and everything. Just to see, Will Gordon's coming up 5th in my model again. Will Gordon, I talk about him every single week, it seems like. And then he's missed the last 2 cuts. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to work out why he's so high. Also, Webb Simpson's made a comeback as well in my model.
I can't play Webb Simpson.
I know you can't. I'm just, I was a bit surprised to see him as well. He's 10th in my model. I've actually put him into my seasonal, I think, this week. I'm going to. Pretty awful history, as it were, but he's still. I think the reason we're getting these, what I think we think of as anomalies on our models, is because just the field's so weak. And Webb Simpson's. I try to work out why he's 10th. Is putting on power. He's actually ranking 10th in.
Yep.
I suspect it's probably that, and some of the approaches he's very good at as well. So yeah.
Lynn's asked us a question there.
Okay.
Thoughts on Shelton, Lanto, and Simpson? You kind of mentioned Simpson there. I can't play Webb Simpson. I know he's sort of the cream of the crop within this range, but I can't play him. I like Robbie Shelton again. I think I'll probably go back to some of him if I can get to him. I don't really want to dip into the 6K range though, because it's awful. But we'll see. If I can get to him, I might. His recent form's been pretty, like I say. No course history here, though. That would worry me. I like Lanto. I worry about him with that back. I mean, he's coming off major back surgery. I know he done well last week. He come 37th, which was good on a tough golf course. Good course history here. 16th last year. 9th in 2020 as well. So clearly a place he likes. I'd probably have it Shelton, Lanto, Simpson personally. That'd be my order of that 3.
That's the complete reverse of what it is in my model for the 3 of them. I mean,
my model might tell me differently, but
yeah,
I am going against the model. I'm going. That's an eye test.
Lanto is like 35th, and Shelton's in the bottom half. So, and as I say, I've already told you, Webb Simpson's 10th of mine. You're kind of with Simpson, as you said before. You're sort of buying the general class, as it were, over the years of being a better golfer than most others down this range. But doesn't mean he's going to do it this week. Before we move on, anybody else you're particularly high on, or are you just they're all a bit meh down here for you?
Troy Merritt's got good course history here. 4th last year, 16th in 2021, 25th in 2020, 8th in 2018. Very good course history. The problem is with Troy Merritt, he's missed 3 of the last 3 cuts that he's played in. So something's clearly going wrong with him. He's losing strokes everywhere, just all across the board on the approach and everything. So I don't know, maybe he needs to do a deeper dive into Troy Merritt, but the course history is certainly there for him. I quite like Gary Higo. Seems to have refound his form, as won on the tour before as well. Last 2 cuts made, which is good to see. No course history, but it's a South African. South Africans tend to play well on these coastal tracks as well. So I don't mind Higo. again, none of these guys down here now are going to start popping in the model because they're better. Like these guys should be within the 6K range most weeks. Kevin Yu, we know what Kevin Yu is. He's
Yep.
going to make a lot of birdies or or bust.
Yeah.
He made. I do like the fact that he come 21st at the Amex, which is a 3-course rotation, a bit of a birdie wedge fest. So that's quite nice to see. Callum Tarrant down here. There's quite a few. Like this is why I think you can just start with the 2 at the top and come down to this range. I think there's quite a few down here. Tarrant down there. 3 of the last 5 events he's made the cut in. Some good finishes as well. Second, I believe that was at the RSM, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the RSM. Yeah.
Yeah, so second at the RSM. I don't mind getting to him. Only worry with him is there's no course history. I think that's going to be a problem with a lot of these guys down here, to be honest.
Yeah, so I've got Joseph Bramlett is doing okay in my model on this range. He's got 6 made cuts, long off the tee. His ball striking is decent. So again, it's all a little bit of a lottery down here, isn't it? Really, his putting is terrible though on power.
Yeah.
So absolutely terrible. If that was even half decent, he'd be right near the top of your models, I think. Yeah, so many options you go for now. You've already said you're not particularly interested in the 6s. Can you make a case for anybody down here?
Before I do that, we've got. Do you guys think that Fitz's neck injury is serious? Just read in the GC on Twitter, he has an issue with it. Does this change your opinion on him this week? I haven't seen that. If I see that and there is some sort of issue, then yeah, I might have to fade him. Oh god, then I would just go to Jordan Spieth, and then will be on full tilt for the whole weekend.
Angry Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If there's any, even if there's a hint that he's got an injury and stuff, you just don't play him. The opposite side of that is if you've got some lineups, you're playing multiple lineups, then try and take advantage of the drop in ownership. Having said that, the fact the news has come out this late in the week, if it's coming out then, it might not drop the ownership as much as if it come out Monday or Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I've not heard of anything about that either. Yeah, 6s.
Oh my god, this range is awful. I mean, you've got Eric Cole down here, but he loses strokes on the one stat that I want this week, which is on the approach. But I mean, he's made 5 of his last 6 cuts. He missed the cut last week, but I don't mind him missing the cut of the Farmers. It's a tough golf course. Oh my god, this range is no course history at all. This range is absolutely awful. I don't really, to be honest, Mark. I can't. There's no one down here that I can make a case for.
So last week you did bring up Kevin Tway.
Yeah,
and he has made 3 cuts.
Yeah,
this year. So
missed the cut here last year though.
Yeah, and Kadira is a bit of a wedge man as well. And
yeah, I don't mind Kadira.
Yeah.
I mean, this range, it is a bad range, isn't it? Like, I mean, I've seen people talking up Jimmy Walker this week, like down here. I'm not playing Jimmy Walker. Just
one thing I know for sure is
Marcel seems an interesting one. He's a Euro DP World Tour guy. If you wanted to take a punt, then I think I'd probably take a punt down there on him. Brian Stewart, he's a bit of an iron player, but he's missed all 4 cuts in his last 4 events. Good with a wedge in his hand though, so I don't mind him. Your boys down here, Hank Lebioda.
Yeah, all my boys are down here now. Austin Smotherman as well. Do you remember he was like 8 over 8K at some point last year?
Yeah, that was at the Corrales. I'm not playing any of these guys down here.
Look at that, 5 cuts. One thing you know for sure though, Jack, is that somebody down here will do very well because they always do.
Yeah,
and they'll surprise us. Somebody will be this week's Eric Barnes, won't they?
Yeah, they will. But it's trying to find it, isn't it? It's I just don't. Yeah. The way I'm going to build this week, I just don't need to come into this range.
Okay. Should we do a Jack build first of all? You okay
Yeah.
for that? We're not giving away too much. So who are you going with now? You've got Hoagie or Spieth in the 10s.
Well, just put Fitzpatrick in, and then
Okay, fine.
I haven't
Okay,
seen that.
fine.
I haven't seen that news.
Okay. So you're going
Stick
to want Ross Knox, yeah?
stick Knox in.
And then you've got all these lovely names to choose from.
So it drops us down to 7,300. I mean, I wouldn't
Hmm.
call these lovely names, Mark, but we could put Charlie Hoffman in, who's popping in my model. No, don't do that. Please don't.
It's like, we definitely talked about some of these.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking for now. We stick Troy Merritt in.
Yeah. By the way, Troy Merritt's another one of those players who hits all those trends. One of the 8 players who hits all the trends, as is Nate Lashley in this range. Okay, who was I doing? I was doing Troy Merritt.
I didn't mention him actually, but I really like this player he's a very he had the lead after the first 2 rounds here last year. Bo Hostler.
Yeah, he's up there, isn't he?
He's at 7-4. I didn't really mention him.
Yeah, I felt like last year we were playing him a lot last year. I think
we was. That
yeah.
7-5. I don't know if I could play Kitty Armour. I don't think I could.
You don't have to spend all your money.
No, of course you don't.
You can play your Higo. You can play your Naismith.
Yeah, play Higo. Put Higo in that
Yeah.
lineup. I actually quite like that lineup.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. And if Fitzpatrick isn't available, are you going to go to Spieth, Hogue? You go further down.
Well, if he wasn't available, then take out Higo and Fitzpatrick. Stick in Spieth. I'm not playing Hoagie.
Gives you exactly 7.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mr. Barnes. There we go.
Problem
solved.
Problem
solved. Yeah.
I probably would have to readjust that a bit. I'd probably take out Hoffman as well, to be honest, and then change it around.
Okay, well, let's not give everybody exactly what you're playing. Let's start a lineup a little bit more in the middle. Who we go with? Andrew Putnam. Should we start with Putnam?
Yeah. What about Putnam and Power? See what that does.
Yeah. It's not going to make it massively different to the other one, though. But if you think people are going to be playing 2 of the 10Ks, then it could be a good way to start it.
Yeah, it could be. But we could also drop down a bit further because we both like Kevin Yu, don't we?
Yeah, he's a good fantasy play, isn't he?
Yeah. So we stick him in at 7-3, and then maybe if you wanted to come down a little bit more, Streelman's got very good course history here. Danny Willett, we know what Danny Willett. I didn't mention him at all. He's a former Masters champion, so we know he's got the pedigree.
If you put him in as well, then you can go back up to 9. Then you can have 3 in the 9s. You know?
Yeah. Who did you stick in there? Streelman and Willett?
Yeah, I put them both in, but then you could have a Darman, a Detry. We talk about him almost every week.
Yeah, I think I'd play Detry in this lineup.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be both of those. You can still use like a Naismith, Sig, or Troy Merritt again.
Yeah.
Some options there. Let's just do one more lineup, but let's go even lower with the starting point in the 8s. Let's try a real GPP lineup with a bit of Lipsky.
Yep.
EVR because he's number 1 for me. We could stay in the 8s here, to be perfectly honest.
Well, yeah, you could. You could just stand. I'm not sure how much I like this, but yeah, you could.
Yeah, no, exactly. You'll put Nick Hardy in there. He's doing well, wasn't he? I mean, we're not staying in the 8s there, but this is super balanced.
Stick Nick Hardy in. Robbie Shelton. Stick him in at 7-8.
No, but we can go back over the 9s if we need to.
Yes, I mean, so we go up to the 9s.
Get a Keith Mitchell in there if we wanted to. We've still got Detry in there as well. And then you go 9-5.
I would stick Detry in and play. I'd probably play Denny McCarthy, to be honest. But you've
got lots of options. So I don't think that's as bad as we first thought, to be perfectly honest.
No, I mean, we didn't have to dive into that 6K range is horrible.
And we went down to Nick Hardy was the lowest, and actually we've still got 300 left, so you can move up to the 8s on that as well if you wanted to. You can get Anyway, cool. Lots of ways you can do that. Let's stop that. There we go. So I think we're done there, Jack.
We are. I managed to get through it with my
You didn't get disturbed either.
No, I didn't.
So, like,
No.
you know, all win-win. So, yeah, as you said, Rebel, we've got the Listener League. If you're playing a season long anywhere, you still got time if you want to before this week to sign up for Jack's Tracker. Yeah, I don't know. Anything to say, Jack, before we sign off?
No, I'm just looking forward to this course rotation to being over. I shouldn't moan; it's been very profitable, but yeah, I just don't like these course rotation events. And yeah, next week proper golf starts next week at the Waste Management on the first elevated. Well, not the first elevated event, the Century Tournament, the champion was, but it's an elevated event. And I've seen, well, if you've got the tracker, you'll know what most of that field is already. The field is lit, put it that way.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, so I think this week I think the way to finish this one is driving for show and approach for dough. See you all next week.
See you next week.